All right, let's get right into it. For decades, the main rule of gaming was pretty simple. If you weren't actively playing, you weren't making any progress. But a whole new kind of game has come along and completely flipped that script. It's created a multi-billion-dollar industry by, get this, rewarding you for doing, well, nothing at all. So today, we're going to break down the surprising genius behind idle games.
I know, it sounds totally backward, right? But this one single question is really at the heart of one of the most powerful, most addictive retention mechanics ever designed. What if the real secret to winning was just to walk away?
Okay, so to really get why this is so revolutionary, we have to take a step back and look at the problem it was designed to solve. For years and years, progress in most games was tied directly to what players call the grind. You know, those endless, repetitive tasks you had to do over and over just to get to the good stuff.
And this right here illustrates the core difference perfectly. In a traditional game, the second you put down the controller or log off, everything just freezes. Your progress hits a brick wall, and honestly, that leads to a ton of player fatigue and burnout. But idle games? They're built on the exact opposite principle. Your progress actually accelerates the moment you log off.
So how in the world did designers fix this whole grind problem? Well, they used this beautifully elegant idea that completely transforms the player experience, the welcome back reward. Instead of logging back into a long to-do list, you come back to a giant pile of rewards your game earned for you while you were gone.
And you know what's really interesting is how simple the tech behind this actually is. At its core, an idle mechanic is basically just a time-stamping system. When you close the app, the game makes a little note of the time. Then, when you open it up again, it just calculates how long you were gone.
And this is the powerful but super simple math that makes it all work. The game just multiplies the time you were away by whatever your account's passive earning rate is. This little formula turns your time, your real-world, lived time, into an incredibly valuable in-game resource. It's an absolute game changer.
So here's the crucial point. It's all about a psychological shift. You're not just, grinding away at tasks anymore. No, now you're the manager of an automated system. You can just pop in, make a few smart, strategic decisions to improve your rates, and then you leave and let your investment do the work for you. It feels productive, not draining. But the mechanics? That's really only half the story. The reason these games are so dang hard to put down is rooted deep in our own psychology. It's all about creating a task that is, by its very design, never, ever truly finished.
Come on, we've all felt it, right? That little pull, that nagging thought that pops into your head during a quiet moment. I wonder how much gold my base is made by now. Well, that feeling is not an accident. It is a very carefully engineered psychological hook.
See, this isn't random at all. It's a well-documented thing called the Zeigarnik effect. Our brains are basically hardwired to keep a mental to-do list for any tasks we haven't finished. And an idle game is the ultimate open-ended task. Your progress is always ticking up, so your brain literally keeps a tab open for it, constantly urging you to just check back in.
And this is how it all ties together to build this incredibly powerful loop that keeps you coming back. You leave, your brain reminds you about that unfinished business, you feel that little itch to return, and when you do, bam! The game hits you with a massive reward. It's positive reinforcement that makes you want to do the whole cycle all over again. But the really, really smart idle games, they aren't just about rewarding you for being away. They're about creating this amazing synergy between your time away and the time you spend actively playing the game.
They create this perfect balance between two totally different ways to play. Active play is for those moments when you really want some high-intensity action. You want to use your skill and get immediate rewards. And passive play, that's for everything else, the long-term strategy and the growth that's always happening in the background.
Now, here's where the genius of the design really shines. The two modes actually feed each other. When you play actively and you do well, you earn upgrades that boost your passive earning rate. So the better you play, the more you earn while you're offline. Every single minute of active play becomes an investment in your passive empire. And the beautiful result of all of this is that it makes gaming so much more inclusive. It just doesn't matter if you have 5 minutes to spare between meetings or a whole 5 hours on a weekend. The game works for you. It levels the playing field for all the busy people out there who just can't commit to that traditional gaming grind.
So what does all this mean for the future of gaming? Well, this whole design philosophy of respecting the player's time while still giving them that sense of constant progress is fundamentally changing how games are made.
The big takeaway here is that idle mechanics have totally broken out of their little niche.
They aren't just for simple clicker games anymore. Now you're seeing these core ideas being integrated into huge, major genres. Everything from first-person shooters to massive role-playing games, all as a way to keep players hooked for the long haul.
And that kind of leaves us with a fascinating final thought to chew on. In an age where our attention is pretty much the most valuable currency there is, these games have found a brilliant way to capture it. Not by demanding hours and hours of our time, but by offering us progress, essentially for free. It really makes you wonder, what are we really paying with?